Introduction. Among the most important life skills that anyone should hone are effective social and communication skills. By having these skills, you can see yourself going to exciting places. Good social, communication, and conversation skills can contribute to your success in various areas of your life, including your career and your personal relationships. Now, what if you realize that your social skills are kind of lacking, and you need to brush up on them? It could be that you often feel anxious, insecure, nervous, and shy when you're in a crowd or even just a small group of people. You find yourself having a hard time making conversations and leaving a positive impression. It makes you feel isolated and lonely, especially if you're not also fond of going out, further limiting your social connections. Do the mentioned scenarios resonate with you? Then you should begin brushing up on and polishing your social and communication skills. This book, Improve Social Skills, Master Small Talk, and Develop Effective Communication to Improve Your Conversation, Overcome Your Shyness, and Become More Charismatic to Connect Effortlessly, will serve as your ultimate weapon and guide in navigating through various social settings. It tackles a lot of topics that are all useful in overcoming your major social difficulties and hurdles that seem to be stopping you from enjoying your life, living to the fullest, and achieving the success you have been aiming for. This book will stop you from feeling like a loner and an outcast. Through the things that you will learn here, you will notice a significant boost in your confidence when it comes to socializing and talking to people. It will guide you throughout the process of going out there, finding friends and acquaintances, and building real connections. Most social problems and difficulties are actually fixable, and this book will definitely tell you how you can do that. It is what you need to boost your confidence, manage your anxiety and shyness, and improve your conversation and communication skills. After reading this book, socializing and talking to people will become a lot easier. Chapter 1. The importance of honing your social and communication skills. Good social and communication skills are vital in navigating through life successfully. As you may have known by now, humans are always social beings. Even introverts or those who value privacy and alone time also need to communicate with others from time to time. You have to communicate as it is the key to growing, surviving, living life in peace and harmony, and nourishing yourself based on the perspectives of others. Note, though, that proper and effective communication will only happen if you know how to connect and relate to others, and you are able to build a lot of good social skills. This will ensure that you will not be dealing with major conflicts and misunderstandings in the future. So basically, social skills refer to an important set of behaviors that let you relate to and interact with others effectively and satisfactorily. What's great about these skills is that you can learn, strengthen, and develop them through regular practice. And this book will be around to guide you on your journey toward improving your social skills. Before that, let's tackle what really makes social and communication skills important. Why hone your social skills? Undeniably, having exceptional social and communication skills can make your life more meaningful and interesting. It positively affects all aspects of your life, including personal and romantic relationships, career, and health. To further encourage you to begin honing your social skills, here are the reasons why you need to have such skills. Better relationships. You need good social skills to cultivate good relationships with others. By developing these skills, you will have an easier time understanding your friends, family members, and colleagues. You will start to understand what they really feel and their expectations of you. Once you have polished these skills, you will notice that the number of your trusting and close relationships also increases. Improve your ability to communicate. As the name suggests, social skills revolve around communication and conversation. A socially skilled person is capable of reading the body language of others. They are capable of comprehending what they decide to communicate on a much deeper level. What's even more impressive about them is their ability to create rapport, therefore ensuring that others will also start to become honest with you. Increases the number of your career prospects. Undoubtedly, one who knows how to talk and interact with people will also be enjoying better career opportunities and prospects. In fact, it has been indicated in a lot of sources that people who are socially skilled have a high chance of becoming successful in their individual careers. The reason is that their ability to socialize helps them become more satisfied in life and careers. If you are an entrepreneur, then it is all the more important to have good social skills. With these skills, you will have an easier time convincing and persuading people how trustworthy you are. This is also good for your career. Promotes genuine happiness. Those with excellent social skills feel happier compared to those who are kind of lacking in this area. It is primarily because they have a high number of friends and a deep level of friendships. If you make friends because of your good social skills, expect the friendships you build to help you fulfill what you need emotionally and provide you support whenever you struggle. These skills will protect you from loneliness. Aside from helping in forging and forming close relationships, you will also gain the confidence that is essential to interacting with those surrounding you every time you feel lonely. Improves both physical and mental health. In addition to improving your emotional well-being, excellent communication skills also support better physical and mental health. It has been discovered how strong social skills aid people in building support networks that are crucial in protecting their social and mental health. Your social skills will also ensure that you will receive the correct treatment from doctors. The reason is that you have the ability to communicate what you feel effectively. You also get to clearly communicate your symptoms since you know how to socialize. Enriches your professional life. You can also use your social and communication skills to enrich your professional life. This is possible through proper conversations, written documents and emails, visuals such as charts or graphics, and presentations. You have to hone your skills particularly in the workplace because of the following. Improves your relationship with your coworkers and bosses. Improves the way you connect with others. Offers help in conveying your point clearly and quickly. Enriches your professional image. Improves your open-mindedness and active listening skills. All these are extremely important in the workplace and other aspects of your life. By learning and honing such skills, you can attain satisfying and optimal relationships with others. People will love working with you. Good social skills can lead to goodwill from coworkers and colleagues. If they find you easy to work with, you can expect them to stay with you no matter what, especially when you are aiming for your next promotion. Moreover, there is a high chance that those around you will give you the help you need anytime. Those around you will respect and understand the boundaries. For instance, if you were invited to a social event but do not feel like going, declining the invitation will be easier. The reason is that you have an assurance that there will be no hard feelings as you decline, considering how good you are at conveying your message. They will respect their boundaries and your opinions and decisions. With your good social skills, you will have an easier time making those around you see where exactly you come from, which helps you communicate your feelings even better. Chapter 2. Do you have poor social skills? The first step to honing and polishing your social and communication skills is to reflect on yourself. You should dig deeper and determine if you are indeed lacking in social skills, so you can immediately work on improving them. In most cases, people with poor social skills are those who can't seem to socialize comfortably. They also have a hard time engaging in conversation or interacting with others calmly. In addition, they have the tendency to feel physically anxious and misjudge social cues when in a social setting. Talking to people, especially those they have just met, as well as the possibility of being humiliated while socializing, may also cause them to have intense fear. Signs that you have poor social skills. To determine if you have poor social skills and whether they are things you have to correct in your ability, here are some signs to look for and observe. Being in a group makes you feel left out. Do you often feel left out when you are in a group? It could be that you are surrounded by people who are engaged in a talk and are fully aware of what to say exactly and how to keep everyone engaged. They seem to be the masters of initiating and maintaining the spark in conversations. Except you. If you often experience that, there is a high chance that your social skills are not that good. Being unable to connect in a group means that there is a kind of deficit in your social skills. This is the main reason why you frequently feel left out. You may end up experiencing awkwardness and discomfort in a social setting, even during those instances when you have something on your mind that you think you can add to the conversation. You have a difficult time saying it aloud, or you are unsure when and how you should say it. You end up doing or saying the wrong things unintentionally. Every time you find yourself in a social setting, you end up becoming clumsy and aloof. There may be a few instances where you turn out to be reckless and tactless. Even if all these are unintentional, you continue to find yourself being in such situations. It may be that you end up saying the wrong things or delivering statements that others may find odd, weird, or offensive. Do not feel bad if this happens to you most of the time, though. Remember that you do not do it deliberately. It is just because you still need to brush up on your social skills, and maybe find a way to overcome your social discomfort and anxiety. This is fixable with regular practice and your commitment to really hone your social skills. You find yourself experiencing plenty of awkward silence. Do you often experience awkward silence when you are with someone? This is kind of frustrating, and it indicates that you lack social skills. If awkward silence has become a usual experience for you in social settings, then you need to strengthen your ability to socialize. You need to polish your skills in holding meaningful and engaging conversations. Socializing makes you feel emotionally exhausted. You don't socialize that much because you feel emotionally exhausted quickly because of it. The fact that you don't attend social functions often means that you also have low tolerance for it. This causes you to get exhausted really quickly. Within just several hours, you want to go home. If you often feel this way, it indicates that your social skills are weak. You tend to scroll on your phone when talking to others. While mobile phones are really helpful in connecting you with those who are not present, they also can be detrimental to those who are directly in front of you. The reason is that they provide a gap or barrier between people. The problem is that this may convey a message that you are not receptive to the words of the person you are talking to. You may even be viewed as rude, uninterested, and bored. You are not fond of doing anything personally. At present, it is possible to order anything you want online. Yes, this is very convenient, but it also tends to stop you from enjoying the outside world. It is time for you to fix this. Stop yourself from becoming socially isolated by starting to do things personally instead of online. Tendency to force inappropriate humor. Your social anxiety may be the reason behind this. It happens when you use humor, no matter how inappropriate, to diffuse your nervousness and anxiety. If you did that several times, then it is time for you to hone your social skills so you will master the art of reading the room. It can also remind you of how important it is to be sensitive and use jokes only when it is appropriate. Common causes of poor and weak social skills. Before starting your journey towards polishing your social skills, you have to determine the exact reasons why you seem to lack in this area. There is always a reason why you end up having low social skills. It could be nature or nurture, but whatever the cause, you have to identify it as it will serve you as your starting point to finding the perfect solution. Upbringing. Of course, one thing that contributes to your low tolerance for socialization is your upbringing. Those who grow up without being exposed to socializing that much will end up having poor social skills. Many socially active people are usually those who are exposed outdoors and to a lot of people during their childhood. Reserved kids will also most likely end up becoming reserved when they reach adulthood. The fact that you lacked exposure to social settings when you were a child also means that you will find it hard to navigate such environments as you grow older. Failure to see the essence of socializing. If you fail to see how important socializing and establishing meaningful connections are, then it will also be difficult for you to socialize. You may even find the need to be in a social setting dreadful and scary. Every time you socialize, you end up not having a positive perspective of it, which can translate to poor social skills. Once you see how valuable socializing is, you can easily motivate yourself to hone this important life skill. Know the significance of having social skills. Learn the importance and essence of building friendships. By being aware of all these, you can easily motivate yourself to improve your ability to socialize. Lack of information. One more reason behind the poor social skills of people is the lack of information regarding socializing. Adeptness in handling social settings may look simple, but the truth is several factors contribute to it. You need to follow a lot of rules when socializing. Your lack of knowledge of such rules may result in you having poor social skills. To be more socially adept, it helps to educate yourself about socializing rules. Start learning about the do's and don'ts when in a social function. By familiarizing yourself with these rules, brushing up on your social skills will follow. Your natural, innate trait. Another viable reason for your lack of social skills is your natural or innate personality. This is true for those who have a naturally introverted personality. In this case, the reason for your inability to socialize is not that you have no real interest in it. It is just because that is the way your mind and body naturally handle and process such an environment. If you are an introvert, there is a possibility that you find more comfort if you are in a relaxed and secluded situation. As an introvert, you will most likely be at ease when you stay at home, read a book, watch your favorite show, or do other relaxing things apart from going outside and socializing. Now, the question is, does being an introvert make it impossible for you to become a socially adept person? The answer is no. You still have a chance to possess excellent communication and social skills despite being an introvert. You just have to be committed to studying and practicing these skills willingly. Even introverts can learn a few social skills with the help of this book that will help them smoothly navigate social settings whenever necessary. Chapter 3. Important social skills to develop. In general, social skills comprise abilities and competencies that promote proper interaction and communication with everyone regardless of the setting or environment. You need these skills to communicate with everyone every day through different means, including visual, written, nonverbal, or verbal. Most people also consider social skills as either soft or interpersonal skills. As the name suggests, verbal skills comprise spoken words or language. On the other hand, there is also nonverbal communication, which consists of facial expressions, eye contact, and body language. Every time you communicate with other people, you apply social skills. Of course, as you may have probably known by now, various social skills like empathy, communication, listening, and interpersonal skills can greatly benefit both your personal and professional life. Honing these skills is the key to cultivating successful personal and professional relationships. It also plays a major role at work as it is a vital aspect of planning, collaboration, and staff interaction. Now, what are the different social skills that you have to develop in order to enjoy all the mentioned benefits? Find out in this chapter. Basic social skills. The following are among the most basic social skills you should cultivate if you want to be able to interact and communicate better in various settings. Active listening. Keep in mind that hearing is different from actual and active listening. As a matter of fact, the first important step to interacting in social settings successfully is to listen and attend to the people you are talking to closely, emphatically, and actively. If you hone your active listening skills, people around you will admire you because it shows how much you respect them. However, despite being very basic, this particular social skill is one that several of us fail and are weak at. If you have weak listening skills, you can strengthen them by ensuring that you focus primarily on the speaker. You also have to avoid distractions and prepare for your response once the speaker is already finished instead of when they are still talking. Communication and starting conversations. Another core social skill you have to develop is the ability to start conversations. You need to learn the basic skill of efficiency and correctly starting a conversation, as it helps you display a sense of courtesy, closeness, and ease with those to whom you talk to. Starting conversations properly also requires you to showcase positivity. You need to hone communicative skills that prevent you from appearing insecure or threatening. You also need to strengthen your communication skills so you can convey your ideas and thoughts clearly. What's great about being effective communicators and conversation starters is that it can also help you hone your leadership skills. The reason is that it is the skill that will let you explain goals and projects in a manner that is clear and easy to understand. Asking questions. Basic social skills also involve the ability to ask questions properly and effectively. If you have this skill, then you will also become aware of the proper way to be sufficiently or adequately assertive. You can also make claims properly through it. This basic social skill is so important that you can see it being one of the first few skills taught to kids in class. You need to master this basic skill, as this will definitely be of help as you go through your daily life. Ability to introduce yourself. Of course, you also need to learn the basic skill of properly introducing yourself. This is important so you can present yourself well to people, especially your family and friends. You also have to know how to introduce other people to your own set of friends and relatives. By honing this skill, you can handle academic and work environments well. Say and express gratitude. Do you find yourself having a hard time saying thanks? Then it is time to polish this skill. You should be able to possess the ability to recognize the things that other people do for you by knowing how to express gratitude genuinely. This is the key to building good relationships, whether professional or personal. This basic social skill also demonstrates respect and civility, so it helps to make this a part of your core skills. Make appointments. It is also crucial to develop the basic social skill of making future appointments. This can help you a lot as you manage your daily life and deal with different kinds of people. Note that no matter how reserved or introverted your overall personality is, there will still be instances when you have to make appointments. It could be a medical appointment with your doctor, or one that involves a client meeting. If you don't know how to do this, then you will not be able to get the courage to make appointments and obtain your desired results from them. Complex social skills. There are also certain complex social skills that you have to harness if you want to increase your chance of being successful in life. Note, though, that for these complex skills to become a natural part of you, it is advisable for you to develop the basics first. No matter what situation you are in, you may need to use any of these complex skills based on how difficult that particular situation is and its overall characteristics. Emotional intelligence. Before diving deep into certain social settings, it is crucial for you to understand how important emotional intelligence is. Basically, it refers to a person's ability to recognize their own emotions as well as those of others so they can utilize such information in guiding their behavior. Understanding and boosting your emotional intelligence will help you comprehend social settings better and significantly boost your ability to handle various social interactions. Emotional intelligence is so important in various social settings that many consider it a social foundation. If you want to improve your emotional intelligence, or EI, then you should also learn and understand its 5 major categories that tend to support and complement each other. Self-awareness. As the name suggests, self-awareness means your ability to detect your own feelings and the way each one works. You have to be fully aware of your own personality. Let's take it based on the context of socialization. One question you should ask yourself is whether or not you experience anxiety and nervousness when you find yourself in loud situations and environments. It could also be that you get annoyed or upset when those around you tend to talk over you. By knowing these important things regarding yourself, you are showing how self-aware you are. While it can be harder to learn more about yourself at first, you have to do it as it is the key to identifying what you have to improve in yourself as far as your ability to socialize is concerned. Self-regulation. Self-regulation is also another major component of emotional intelligence. In general, it is all about your capability to learn and understand your feelings and emotions and how you can handle and manage them. In some cases, this means that you get to handle such emotions and feelings as soon as they arise. For instance, if you are scheduled to attend a party and you find yourself starting to get anxious because of it, you should be able to know how to regulate yourself and calm down. You should start learning how to control such emotions so that you can better thrive in social settings. Motivation. Emotional intelligence also comprises what we call motivation, which can either be external or internal. External motivators are, of course, the ones you can see and feel. For example, status, pain, and money. All these are actually very effective and powerful motivators. However, you also have to work on your internal motivation. In other words, you have to master how to handle and deal with the motivation from within, so you can always drive and inspire yourself to do something. In this case, you have to find an internal motivator that will drive you to really hone your skills and stop fearing the need to socialize and talk to people. Empathy. Another important part of emotional intelligence, which is also a complex social skill, is empathy. It basically refers to your ability to recognize and discover what those around you truly feel. In this case, you need to develop the core skill of recognizing the specific manner through which people express themselves. For example, you have to be able to distinguish when someone feels anxious and when one feels comfortable. In addition, you have to fully understand the possible response of a person depending on their circumstance. This is a vital social skill to develop because, aside from contributing to your emotional intelligence, it will also encourage others to trust you. The goal here is to strengthen your rapport and empathy with other people so you can cultivate more open, respectful, and stronger relationships. Socialization. This essential aspect of emotional intelligence refers to the skill of navigating social settings and steering all your relationships. This does not mean you have to control others. What it means is that you have to grasp the specific means of getting where you wish to be when dealing with other people. It could be when you wish to manage a team, manage conflicts in any relationship, or share your ideas with your colleagues. One fact about social situations and settings is that each one will always be different. In other words, you can't find a single solution when it comes to handling them. However, by learning these core and complex competencies linked to emotional intelligence, you will find it easier to manage the majority of social situations you are in. Assertiveness. Aside from emotional intelligence, you also have to learn a thing or two about how to become assertive. Keep in mind that social settings and social relationships are kind of complex. With that said, you have to master the skill of protecting yourself in these settings through respect, proper communication, active listening, and the ability to communicate and speak out regarding your needs. The ability to respect the rights of others is also another valuable trait. Asking for help. Another complex social skill that you ought to develop is the ability to ask for help. You have to constantly remind yourself that you are not aware of everything. This means that from time to time, you will be in need of the support, guidance, and advice of those around you. It does not indicate that you're weak. In fact, the ability to ask for help signifies how mature and responsible you are. By harnessing this ability and making yourself effective when it comes to asking for help, you can demonstrate how good your social skills are. Problem-solving skills. You should also be able to recognize and define a problem so you can start negotiating and finding solutions. This is a vital dimension that you have to practice every day. It is also crucial to learn how you can maximize this. By doing that, you will find it easier to negotiate, reach agreements, and set important objectives and goals that are beneficial for all parties. Persuasion. It is also highly valuable to possess the ability to persuade others. Just remember that persuasion here does not necessarily involve manipulation. What this means is that you should know how to interact, connect, argue, and gain an understanding that makes it possible for you to let someone realize that a specific act or behavior is beneficial. This realization and discovery will create a major impact, which will persuade them to do things your way but still gain benefits from it. Conflict resolution. Your complex social skills will not also be complete if you do not improve your ability to resolve conflicts. Note that you will never be immune to dissatisfactions and disagreements, no matter what social setting or situation you are in. In this case, you really have to learn how to resolve conflicts. Basically, effective conflict resolution makes it possible for you to recognize the problem, identify its source, and find the perfect solution for it. The ability to resolve conflicts effectively is extremely important in the workplace. This is especially true if you are holding a position in the human resource (HR) department, as it involves addressing disagreements between workers or employees or resolving conflicts and issues for clients regarding your products, policies, and services. Relationship management. Expect your social skills to really shine if you also know a thing or two about effective relationship management. Based on its name, relationship management allows you to preserve healthy relationships and cultivate key connections. Let's say, for example, you're working in the customer service industry. In this case, your job involves cultivating relationships between certain clients and a company, so your knowledge of relationship management can surely be utilized here. With the help of this complex social skill, you have an assurance that your professional relationship will succeed and flourish. Mentioned in this chapter are just a few of the basic and complex skills that comprise a person's ability to socialize and thrive in various social settings. For you to be able to harness all these social skills and ace any social situation you are in, the next chapters of this book will provide you with information on the things and areas in this field that you have to focus on. Chapter 4. Body Language and its importance in improving your social skills. Despite being ignored and overlooked often, body language plays a crucial role in communication and in handling various social settings. If you wish to witness a significant improvement in your social and communication skills, then learning about body language and how to read or decode it is extremely important. Note that every little detail presented by your body, including your facial expressions, posture, gestures, and tone of voice modulations, can help in conveying or delivering a message even without saying a word. By observing your own body language and that of others, you can socialize and communicate more effectively. You can also use body language to gain highly valuable information regarding how one person feels. It is also what you need to be able to interpret the messages conveyed by others better, even without a word. Once you gain a full understanding of body language and nonverbal cues, you can strengthen relationships with others and enjoy deep conversations. With that, you can obtain a clear insight into the way your words and messages and the way you deliver them influence the reactions and responses of those around you. Body language defined. One of the most important secrets to improving your professional and personal relationships is your ability to deliver and communicate your messages efficiently. However, take note that in every setting that requires you to communicate, talk, and socialize, your body language or nonverbal cues tend to speak louder than the actual words that come out of your mouth. In other words, body language refers to your use of expressions, physical behaviors, and mannerisms with the goal of communicating in a nonverbal manner. In most cases, you do this instinctively instead of consciously. Note that whether you do it consciously or unconsciously, you are constantly delivering and receiving wordless cues and signals during your interactions with others. All these nonverbal cues and behaviors, including your gestures, tone of voice, eye contact, and posture, deliver strong messages. With that said, you really have to work on your own body language and your ability to interpret the nonverbal cues of others if you are attempting to enhance your social skills. The reason is that these cues are the ones that you can use to make people around you feel at ease, establish their trust, and encourage them to continue talking to you. By learning about body language, you can prevent yourself from doing or saying something that is offensive, confusing, or undermines what you truly wish to convey. Your knowledge in this area will also help you use nonverbal communication correctly. With that, you can find yourself having the ability to express yourself genuinely, convey the real meaning of your words, build a better connection with others, and cultivate more rewarding and stronger relationships. Kinds of body language or nonverbal communication. For you to be able to use body language or nonverbal communication in any social setting, you have to be familiar with the fact that it comes in different types and categories. The ones that you should learn, since they play a major role in improving your social skills, are the following. Facial expressions. Note that the face of humans is made to be really expressive. Your face can even express or show a lot of emotions even without saying a word. It is also different from other types of nonverbal communication since it is universal. In general, you can find similar facial expressions for joy or happiness, anger, sadness, disgust, fear, and surprise across different cultures. Body posture and movement. Another form of body language is one that involves your body posture and movement. Think of the way your perception of others gets influenced by the way they walk, sit, hold their head, or stand. The reason behind this is that your way of carrying yourself and your posture and movements conveys a huge amount of information about yourself. This nonverbal communication also encompasses not only your posture, but also your stance, bearing, and even your subtlest movements. Gestures. The gestures you make also form part of your body language or nonverbal communication. These gestures play a natural part in your daily life. For instance, when talking animatedly or having an argument with someone, you may use both your hands, wave, beckon, or point. These gestures usually help you express yourself even though you do not think about them consciously. Note, though, that gestures are not universal, since different cultures also have different meanings for them. For example, the usual OK sign that you make using your hands can be positive when used in countries that speak English. However, this is offensive when you use it in certain countries, like Brazil, Russia, and Germany. With that, it is crucial to be extra careful when using gestures to prevent misunderstandings and misinterpretations in various social settings. Space. Are you familiar with the kind of discomfort brought on by someone who leans too close to you or tends to invade your space during a talk or conversation? If you answer yes, then you are now probably aware of how important physical space is. Note that most people require adequate physical space, even though this need tends to vary from one person to another. In most cases, the physical space needed by someone will greatly depend on the culture, current situation, and how close they are to the person they are talking to. Physical space is useful if you wish to communicate various nonverbal messages like body signals indicating affection, intimacy, dominance, and aggression. Touch. Touch is also one kind of nonverbal communication or body language that a lot of people use to communicate and socialize. One tends to deliver different messages through touch. Example, those involving a weak handshake, pat on the back or head, controlling grip on one's arm, and warm bear hug. Eye contact. Another vital form of body language or nonverbal communication is eye contact. The reason behind this is that visuals tend to dominate a lot of people. You can use your eyes to communicate several things like attraction, affection, interest, and hostility. Eye contact also plays a crucial role in ensuring that conversations continue to flow smoothly. You can also use this in gauging the response and level of interest of someone. Voice. In this form of communication, what matters is actually not the words you use, but the exact manner you deliver your words. Keep in mind that every time you speak, those around you will also read your voice aside from hearing and listening to the words you say. In this case, expect them to observe your pace and timing, inflection and tone, the level of loudness, and some sounds that indicate understanding like uh-huh and ah. When you are in a social setting, you have to think of the way the tone of your voice signifies a lot of different things, like anger, confidence, affection, and sarcasm. By doing that, You can deliver your message and what you truly feel using the appropriate tone of voice. Importance of body language in improving your social and communication skills. As mentioned a while ago, body language can help a lot in enhancing and improving your social and communication skills. Here are just some of the things that body language can do as far as helping you handle social settings well are concerned. Improves and strengthens your relationship. How you say something is usually more important compared to the words you actually say. As a matter of fact, body language or nonverbal communication composes around 93% of every interaction between people. With that in mind, you really have to be more intentional and mindful with the use of body language so that you can maximize each conversation and make the most out of your time in any social setting. Note that effective social and communication skills can benefit various areas of your life. By learning and understanding body language, you can uncover important insights in conversations that are otherwise hidden. Use the subtle signs composing a person's body language so you can grasp their real feelings and thoughts. This makes it easier for you to strengthen your connection with your conversation partner. Improves business. Are you part of the business industry? Then be aware that your knowledge of body language can help you make your business thrive and survive despite the fierce competition. If you are an entrepreneur, then you really have to improve your social and communication skills since you will be dealing with a lot of people on a daily basis. As an entrepreneur, you should also know that body language is an important foundational ability since it has a profound and positive impact on all your business dealings. Let's say you are meeting with a client. During your meeting, you have to use the right tone of voice and ensure that you do not use a monotone pitch. Otherwise, you will be driving your client away. No matter how hard you try, you will have a hard time closing a sale if your prospective client notices a nonverbal disconnect that is very visible in your body language. Your knowledge and understanding of body language, therefore, can help you get a strong advantage in your business transactions and dealings. The reason is that it helps you convert simple conversations into profitable and successful business transactions. Be more mindful of body language signals that indicate defensiveness, like a torso that tends to turn away or crossed arms. By paying close attention to your body language, you have a better chance of closing deals and ensuring that you do not fail to grab opportunities for earning major profits. Preventing conflicts and misunderstandings. Being adept in reading body language is also a big help in preventing conflicts and misunderstandings in any social setting and conversation. Keep in mind that your body language tends to show more than what you say, especially when you are upset or angry. If you are aware of the specific physical cues associated with negative feelings like anger, you can use those in diffusing and preventing explosive situations. By understanding defensive nonverbal cues, you can determine what your conversation partner feels before a certain issue is given the opportunity to spiral. With that, you will always have good and friendly conversations. You can definitely prevent unwanted and unnecessary conflicts and arguments. Makes you more visible and noticeable. If you master body language, it is easier for you to leave a positive and lasting impression on those you meet. You can also gain a much better understanding of others' perceptions of you. By learning and understanding body language, you will be more adept in social settings since it also gives you a chance to practice how to present yourself effectively based on a few important aspects. Your knowledge of even these minor details will make you and other people aware of your presence. You can also detect right away the specific type of messages you were transmitting in a nonverbal manner. Your deep understanding of the kind of communication that does not use any words is also the key to recognizing and understanding your responses and reactions to various social scenarios. With that, you have an assurance that your appropriate responses will not go unnoticed by those present in a social setting. Being knowledgeable of your own body language can also help you take the necessary steps to modify your responses whenever needed. Knowing body language's nuances will give you a powerful and effective tool to make some changes and alterations in your own feelings and emotions. For instance, if you lack confidence and feel down, You can deal with it through body language by standing straight and tall. Make sure to raise your head high, too. After that, spread out your chest. Do this pose for a couple of minutes so you can bring back your high level of energy and restore your self-confidence. Gives you enlightenment. Through body language or nonverbal communication, you will be enlightened about the actual and exact meanings of your conversations. Note that in every conversation, even if it just takes half an hour, it is highly likely for human beings to transmit up to 800 nonverbal cues and signals unconsciously. If you are present and you are fully aware of these cues, then you will have an easier time opening up your mind, so you can immediately detect subtle signals, even those that you may have failed to see in your previous conversations. Mastering body language will also enlighten your brain about many communication nuances. With that, you can definitely enjoy your world and environment in clear and high definition. It also gives you a clear idea of how to take in all these body cues, which is the key to gaining another layer of comprehension and understanding that tends to go unnoticed in usual cases. How to use body language to improve your social skills. By mastering body language and how to use it effectively, you can improve your performance whenever you are in a social setting. You can use this knowledge and adeptness in nonverbal communication to leave a positive and lasting impression. All it takes is to use the appropriate postures, facial expressions, and gestures. If you practice the right etiquette for nonverbal communication or body language, you get the opportunity to demonstrate your confidence, respect, and openness, all of which are personal assets and traits that will help bolster your social and communication skills. To achieve all that, you need to know and understand the specific roles played by body language or nonverbal communication in various social interactions. Expect it to be of help in facilitating the following whenever you are in a social setting. Gaining trust. You can use certain nonverbal cues or body signals to earn the trust of those around you. For instance, you can engage in proper eye contact, nod your head as you listen to someone's words, and mirror their body language unconsciously. All these body signals indicate that you are interested in what one is telling you, thus helping both of you bond and earn their trust. Emphasizing or highlighting a point. In this case, you can utilize the tone of your voice as well as your arm and hand gestures to engage your listeners or audience and emphasize an important point. The specific way through which you take up space can also influence how you deliver your message. Revealing what is true. You can also use body language to either reveal or find out the truth. Your proficiency in reading body language will let you know whether someone you are talking to is telling the truth. For instance, if their body language seems to be mismatched or disconnected from the words they are saying, you can intuitively detect that they are somewhat hiding or withholding some information. It could also be that they are not totally honest and truthful about their feelings and emotions. Delving deeper into what you need. Your body language also tells a lot regarding your exact feelings. For example, if your body language consists of a slumped posture, pursed lips, or clenched jaw, it will immediately signify the fact that the surrounding environment you are in triggers you in a way. It could be your body's way of letting you know that you feel stressed and unsafe, among a couple of other emotions. However, as you use body language, you should remember that not all assumptions you have based on that are correct. The nonverbal cues only serve as a basis. Now, how can you use body language to make you thrive in social settings even further? Apply these do's and don'ts. Do's. Hold an open and confident posture. This can be characterized by squared shoulders, stomach in, and chest out. You need to show this posture so you will look more trustworthy and approachable in any setting. Lean in a bit. Do this every time you talk to someone since this indicates how interested you are in what they are telling you. This particular movement also somewhat fosters a feeling that you are close. Use proper eye contact. Deliver your message or communicate more effectively through proper eye contact, which is an essential nonverbal cue. This can demonstrate your interest, confidence, and sincerity. Show what you feel through facial expressions. For instance, if you want to show that you are happy, then you should smile genuinely. However, if you are displeased, then you can also give out a frown. Be extra careful when showing facial expressions, though. Avoid overdoing it since it may only cause you to deliver the wrong message. For example, if you smile excessively, the person you are interacting with may perceive it as a sign of insincerity. Make sure that the facial expression you are giving out complements the actual tone and theme of the conversation. It also helps to go for positive nonverbal cues or body language like nods and smiles all the time. Include the appropriate hand gestures if you intend to put more emphasis on a certain point. This is important as it can provide more energy and enthusiasm to the words that come out of your mouth. Do not hide your hands. But you also have to avoid gesturing excessively as it may only make the movements distracting. Mirror one's body language. Another effective technique to improve your social skills through body language is mirroring. This basically involves mirroring the body language of the one you are communicating with. For instance, if you notice them leaning forward, you also have to do the same. If you mirror their movements, it would be easier to cultivate understanding and rapport between the two of you. Observe personal space. Note that you can show the level of comfort you feel when you are with someone based on the amount of personal space you adhere to. You have to ensure that there is appropriate personal space between the two of you. As much as possible, do not stand too close. Otherwise, the one you were talking to may start feeling awkward and uncomfortable. However, you should also avoid standing too far away since it may only cause you to look uninterested and distant. Improve communication through touch. You may also want to touch someone carefully, usually on the shoulder or arm, to develop this feeling and sense of closeness. Avoid touching too frequently, though, as it may only appear creepy. Pay close attention to the tone of your voice. The tone you are using as you speak has as much weight as, sometimes even more than, the words you say. This is the reason why you really have to be mindful of it. For instance, if your tone is harsh, those around you may think that you are aggressive or angry. Meanwhile, if you use a gentle and soft tone, you will appear more understanding and compassionate, which will draw more people to you and improve your conversations. Don'ts. Do not cross your arms on your chest. The reason is that people may interpret this position as you being hostile or closed off. What you should do instead is to ensure that your arms rest on both sides or stay open. Do not stare for an extremely long period. It may lead to discomfort and may cause you to look aggressive. Do not avoid eye contact. You still have to look the person you were talking to directly in the eye, though you have to avoid making the stare longer than necessary. Never avoid eye contact, otherwise those around you will perceive you as dishonest or insincere. Also, never roll your eyes, as it may appear rude or disrespectful. Do not slouch. This may signify your lack of self-esteem, plus it may result in you looking bored or disinterested. Do not fidget. To socialize and interact with people more effectively, you should avoid fidgeting since they may interpret it as you being uncomfortable, insecure, or nervous. This unwanted movement can also distract those around you. Ensure that both your hands stay still. Do not tap your foot or use your hands to play with anything like your accessory or hair. Do not move unnaturally. Lessen unwanted and unnatural movements. This will prevent your body language from looking extremely rehearsed, which people may interpret as you being insincere. Do not cover your mouth or shake your head. If you cover your mouth, it could be interpreted as dishonesty or disbelief. The tendency to shake your head repeatedly also indicates disapproval and disagreement. By applying these do's and don'ts in every instance when you need to interact or communicate in social settings, you will surely be able to make use of nonverbal communication or body language to improve your social and communication skills. The goal is to remain sincere and genuine when interacting with people. Also, keep in mind that there are several instances when nonverbal cues are misinterpreted, so you have to be extra careful. Avoid sending the wrong message. In case you are unsure how one interprets your nonverbal cues, asking them directly would help. Chapter 5. Honing your core listening skills. Undeniably strong social and communication skills are among the most valuable traits that can positively affect different areas and aspects of your life. By having these skills, you will have a higher chance of becoming successful in any industry you are in. To improve your social and communication skills, you also have to polish a vital part of clear and effective communication. That is active listening. It helps to assess your listening skills so you can strengthen them and eventually use them in various social and professional settings. Active listening defined. Active listening refers to a vital social and communication skill, which is mainly about absorbing important details shared with you by someone. One will know that you are an active listener if you also reflect on what you hear through proper body language and questions. This should leave an impression that you are truly and actively listening to the one you are talking to. The ability to listen actively is extremely important, especially in the workplace, as it can result in clearer and better communication, which also plays a crucial role in establishing strong and effective relationships not only with colleagues or coworkers, but also with your clients and bosses. The good news is that just like any other skill, it is also possible to hone your active listening skills. All it takes is to practice and approach each conversation and interaction with a higher level of intentionality. You just have to remind yourself of the premise behind active listening. That is, retaining every word you hear from those you interact with. To become a much better active listener, you need deeper empathy and attention, which is what will help you greatly understand every piece of information being relayed to you. Active listening requires you to pay full and close attention to the words being said to you so you can display unbiased reflection and unconditional acceptance. If you constantly practice this skill, you can expect two beautiful results: retaining vital information in your head and ensuring that the speaker feels valued and understood. Importance of improving your listening skills. As mentioned a while ago, active listening plays a crucial role in effective communication and social interaction. If you are a focused and attentive listener, it will be much easier for you to strengthen your relationships with others. It also allows you to make sound and unbiased judgments and decisions effectively. In addition, your active listening skills will be of help in quickly reaching agreements with other people. Other positive effects of being an active listener include the following. Shows how good you are at paying close attention to the feelings, behaviors, and thoughts of those around you. Makes you more capable of influencing, motivating, and serving people. Improves basic communication and interactions with humans. Strengthens your professional and personal relationships. Facilitates more effective operations of a business organization because the important details that help them adapt to consumer needs or market trends are well received. Being an active listener also makes you even more effective in holding various roles in a business, including sales, mentoring, coaching, negotiation, facilitation, marketing research, interviewing, and managing. With that said, your active listening skills will definitely improve your career. It can assist you in your daily conversations and interactions with your colleagues, maintaining real connections in case you are a leader or manager and building your network. The reason behind this is that your ability to listen actively makes those around you feel heard. Also, active listening has empathy as one of its foundations or bases. With that said, it is safe to say that it also has a significant role in establishing real and meaningful relationships. Your active listening skills will even be of help in controlling your emotions, resolving conflicts, and retaining vital information and data. How to improve your core and active listening skills. With the proven importance and benefits of being an active listener, I'm sure you are now ready to improve your skills in this area. Fortunately, it's not that hard to develop your active listening skills. Even the simple tips below can help transform you into an active listener who can do well in various social settings. Prioritize the purpose and intent of every conversation. To practice active listening, You should start with the intention that you will be receptive and conscious of the speaker and the conversation's purpose and intent. By doing that, you have a much better chance of understanding them and empathizing with them. Be more mindful so you can listen actively to the speaker, making them believe that you are really giving them your full attention. Being a mindful listener means that you have to be aware and respectful of the now. This means your focus should really be on the speaker. Do not daydream, interrupt the speaker, or think deeply about what your response will be. What you should do instead is to absorb the real purpose and content of their message. Be mindful of their body language, too. By doing that, it will be easier for you to establish a genuine connection with the person you were talking to. Maintain eye contact. You can make the person you are talking to feel that you are truly listening to what they are saying if you're able to maintain direct eye contact. As you talk, do not do anything else that may make the speaker feel like you are not interested in what they are saying. Do not look away, text, scan a PC, scroll through your phone, or do something else. This does not necessarily mean you should stare at them for too long, as this may also lead to discomfort. You just have to look them in the eye from time to time to show them that you are genuinely listening and prevent unnecessary distractions. The goal of establishing and maintaining proper eye contact here is to ensure that the speaker knows that they have your undivided and full attention. With that, you can give out a nonverbal signal indicating your interest to the speaker. This serves as an encouragement for them to continue talking and expressing themselves. Note that there are also instances when they may be incapable of looking at you. It could be that they are shy or unsure, or they are part of a culture that does not recommend communicating through direct eye contact. In such cases, it is still advisable to look at the speaker to ensure that they receive the message that you are truly listening to them. Offer encouraging verbal cues. It is also advisable for you to give out a few encouraging verbal cues that refer to your responses, expressing how much you understand the statements shared with you. These verbal cues include encouraging words and phrases like, "I see," "I understand," and "yes." It also helps to use these verbal cues along with certain gestures and expressions like nodding or smiling. Your encouraging verbal cues will also inspire the speaker to give out cues, especially at times when your extra attention is necessary, such as when they are speaking more loudly or slowly to highlight specific points. It could also be when they stress out specific words, pause, or use another tone of voice. If they pause or go silent for a while, it could be that they are waiting for you to respond, so they can confirm if you are truly listening. Ask questions every now and then. It is even highly encouraged for you to ask several questions, probably more than what you believe is necessary. It can improve the overall experience of the person you are talking to, since they will feel that you are truly listening to them. Asking questions is also a way for you to let the speaker know that you completely understand what they are trying to say. In addition, it acts as a prompt that prevents you from overlooking very important details. It is important to ask only clarifying questions to ensure that the discussion or conversation will remain on topic. The questions should also be based on your understanding instead of those unrelated to the primary idea of the message. By asking clarifying questions without the need to interrupt, it demonstrates that you are indeed listening. You are showing them how much you are paying attention to them, plus, it demonstrates your willingness to talk even further. Repeat the speaker's last few words. In case you have a hard time remembering words and phrases, the practice of repeating the last few words of the speaker back to them can help you. It can help to cement whatever message is being relayed to you into your mind. The fact that you are repeating some of the speaker's words, especially those you find really important, can make them feel valued and listened to. In addition, this technique ensures that you continue to stay on track every time you talk and interact with them. As you repeat certain words and phrases, it will also serve as a pause for the two of you, allowing both parties to collect your thoughts and probably recover from possible emotional responses as much as possible. Recognize and admit your shortcomings. Remind yourself that just like other people, you are also imperfect, so there is no need to beat yourself up if you notice your shortcomings and faults in terms of your listening skills. Acknowledge the fact that you can't become an active listener overnight, especially if you do not have that skill yet. You need time and practice to perfect this skill, So there is nothing wrong if you admit some shortcomings and weaknesses in this area. What's important here is your willingness and commitment to improve and make yourself better. In case you are on your way to talking to someone but feel like you are not an excellent listener for some reasons, like exhaustion and your unfamiliarity with the main topic being discussed, it helps to inform the speaker immediately. Do not also worry in case you end up losing your footing when the conversation is still ongoing. It could be that there is a sudden lapse in your comprehension and attention. In that case, do not be afraid to say that you did not get it. You may then ask the speaker to repeat the parts you don't understand. This is also a good way to cultivate and establish rapport with the speaker, since you are making them feel that you really find their words so valuable that you want to make sure that you get to understand all of them. Avoid rehearsing or thinking too much about your response. Do not make the mistake of thinking of what response you will give to a person who is still talking. It may only distract you. It helps to take a short pause once the speaker completes their talk so that you will have enough time to compose the thoughts that are on your mind. One thing to take note of about this technique is that it needs conscious effort. The reason is that people naturally think approximately 4 times quicker compared to others who are talking. This makes it necessary for you to spare some brain power in case you are a listener. It also helps to remain focused throughout the conversation and gather all the relevant information. Visualize the message of the speaker. This means coming up with mental images of the things being said to you by the speaker as you listen. This is a big help in retaining information, especially important ones. You can conjure an image literally or visualize other concepts linked to the main topic. By doing that, you will be reminded of important phrases and keywords no matter how long the other party talks. Through this visualization technique, you can prevent yourself from having to prepare excessively for your response. It lets you focus. However, if you end up losing your focus, you have to refocus right away. Avoid interrupting. Remember that most people process details and talk at various rates. However, if one slowly delivers their message, it helps to hone patience. You have to wait until they are finished and never rush them. Do not interrupt, as it may deliver a message that the speaker may misinterpret. Constant interruptions may also cause the speaker to believe that their message is not as important as what you are planning to say. Another thing you have to refrain from doing is providing solutions if they do not ask for them. In most cases, the speaker is just looking for someone to listen to them intently. In case you want to provide a good solution to their problem, ask first if they are willing to listen to your ideas. Never provide any unsolicited advice, otherwise it may cause misinterpretations and misunderstandings. Lessen distractions. Reduce the number of distractions around you. This should not just encompass external distractions like interruptions and noise, but also internal distractions. If a different topic tends to preoccupy your mind, make it a point to recenter or go back to the main topic. Also, it would help you a lot if you find out first whether the talk or discussion will be upsetting. That way, you can calm yourself down or relax before you dwell on it. Give feedback to the speaker. The feedback we are talking about here could be either nonverbal or verbal. Verbal feedback involves saying things such as, "Okay," or "I understand," what you are going through. As for nonverbal signals, you can nod your head or use the right facial expressions. This is important so you can continue giving the speaker signals that you are truly and actively listening to them. For instance, if the speaker gives you a task, it helps to say the list of tasks given to you again to show them that you understand the things you ought to do. You may also write down the tasks to demonstrate your attentiveness. Continue to practice being an active listener. You have to be committed to practicing your active listening skills. You can do that by remaining conscious of the things you do if someone talks to you. Jot down every important detail that you heard, recognized, and understood after interacting with someone. It also helps to listen to podcasts or audiobooks that are devoid of any text that you can read. The goal here is to practice really listening with your ears. Listen to clips that are 4 minutes or less and replay them. This should help you determine the specific amount of information you are capable of retaining. It also helps you raise your awareness of the role you play as someone who receives information. Through constant practice, you will become a more active listener, which is a big help in boosting your overall social and communication skills. Chapter 6: How to Navigate Small Talks and Conversations. Making small talk and starting conversations are among the skills you should hone if you want to be more adept at handling social skills. For those who regularly take part in social and networking events, engaging in small talk is a necessity. You have to know how to talk to people on such occasions, even if you just met them for the first time. The problem is that while others are so adept at starting and handling conversations, some struggle with it. If you are one of those who still have problems starting conversations and making small talk, you don't have to worry, as there are ways to hone and cultivate this valuable social skill. Whether it is to begin conversations with someone you like, impress a prospective client, or talk to a new acquaintance, being adept in initiating conversations and small talk will be of great help in boosting your comfort level and confidence in a wide range of social settings. You can start with small talks that are often polite and light at first, but have the potential to form opportunities for meaningful and long-lasting connections. Small talk and its importance. Small talk refers to casual and short conversations designed to help you connect with people, even the ones you just met. It is the foundation of building rapport, which plays a major role in various personal and business scenarios. Rapport can be defined as a natural positive relationship, which starts between a couple of people in a sales environment, office, or any other setting that requires one to talk to someone, even those they do not know that well yet. It is actually possible to establish this kind of rapport at the start of any conversation. It could be during a meeting with a potential client where you only have a few seconds to build rapport and win their interest. Otherwise, you end up losing the opportunity. The initial rapport you develop with people in settings that require you to network is also what will help you facilitate communication and interactions designed to give you career gains in the future. Small talks combined with positive body language are what will help you establish the kind of rapport that can help you thrive in various settings. It contributes to developing rapport because it serves as the foundation for communicating verbally. In this case, you have to ask the correct questions and show the appropriate level of genuine interest, so you can build a good foundation that will help you form positive relationships with someone. Small talk topics and conversation starters. If you are not so skilled in making small talk yet, then note that certain topics are definitely good conversation starters. Here are some good topics that will help you kickstart meaningful conversations while relieving you from anxiety and nervousness and bolstering your confidence a bit, especially if you are not that comfortable with social settings yet. Venue or location. Talk about your present surroundings. It could be the nice hotel, conference area, or events place where you are in. Talk about the noteworthy traits of the town and if there are any cool places that you have visited nearby. Art. If you are talking to someone who loves art, then this is also a great topic for your small talk. Ask what museums they visited recently and the ones they would recommend to you. You can also discuss your favorite artists and exhibits, gallery recommendations, your preferred art medium and genre, and how both of you got interested in art. Entertainment. Another nice topic of great conversations is anything related to entertainment. Discuss the shows you love and enjoy lately, including Netflix shows, the movie you watched recently, podcasts you are listening to, and books you are reading. You may be able to share your interest in these areas. Food. Another broad topic that you can talk about is food. The reason is that everyone loves to try different foods and cuisine. You can start by asking any local restaurant they can recommend to you as well as their best-selling dishes. Even if they are not fond of eating out, you can still talk about food, like the dishes they are fond of preparing and eating at home. Anything related to food is definitely a great small talk starter that has the potential of turning into really meaningful and good conversations. Hobby. You may also want to talk about your and the other party's passion. Find out what they like to do during their pastime, as there is a high chance that you will be able to encourage them to talk. They will likely become enthusiastic and delighted to discuss things with you since it is about their passion and hobby. With that, you can also connect with them deeply. Career, work. You can also tackle topics related to career and work. Just remember that it is also kind of tricky to discuss day jobs. I'm sure you want to avoid turning the conversation into something that compares what the two of you are doing for your career, which may cause both parties to get bored. Meanwhile, work career is still a nice topic for small talk and conversation since a lot of people will definitely have something to say about it. To handle this work-related or career-related topic, do not ask generic questions such as, "Where are you working?" or "Do you love your job?" Ask fun, unexpected, and specific questions instead. A few examples would be, "My daughter dreams of becoming an accountant like you. May I ask for any advice to motivate her?" "What area of your career do you love the most? What prompted you to work here?" "Which one among your skill set are you using the most at work? Do you expect that you will be using that particular skill often?" Weather. You can also begin your small talk by discussing the weather. In fact, it is the favorite topic for those who would like to initiate small talks. While it may not be the juiciest small talk starter, you can make the discussion a bit more fun and engaging by using your creativity. For instance, you can talk about one's plans considering the recent weather. If the weather is rainy, you can talk about your plans, like staying at home to watch movies. Another interesting conversation starter related to the weather is your favorite climate and the reason why you like it. If the conversation goes well, it will also eventually tackle their personality. Other interesting weather-related topics that you can open up about during the talk are the usual weather in their hometown and the place where they wish to live if they mainly base it on the weather. Travel. It is a good idea to talk about traveling, too. You can ask someone about an interesting place where they traveled recently. It could just be a simple weekend trip, which is just a 1 to 2 hour drive from your home office, your interesting plans for the summer, and some adventure entries on your bucket list. Opening up about this topic is a great way to make even introverted and reserved prospects talk, especially once they start to share their fondest travel memories and their exciting future adventures. Just prepare for follow-up questions so the discussion and conversation will continue to be smooth sailing. Sports. It is also safe to start your conversation or small talk with sports, especially if you already have an idea that the person you will be talking to is a sports fanatic. Note, though, that there are some rules if you plan to talk about sports. One is that if you are talking to a group composed of at least 2 people, ensure that everyone present is a fan of sports. This is to prevent anyone from the group from feeling like they are being excluded from the talk. Also, while everyone can get enthusiastic when talking about sports, avoid turning the discussion into a heated argument. Work on changing the topic of your conversation if you feel like there is at least one in the group who is beginning to get upset or riled up. With the help of these topics, you can prepare yourself to talk to different kinds of people in any social setting. It will also somewhat bolster your confidence since you already have an idea of what to talk about. Initiating and navigating small talks and conversations. Aside from learning nice conversation starters and small talk topics, you should also be guided by a few tips guaranteed to help and assist you in your small talk. Here are just some of them. Put away your devices. To start small talks, it is important to make sure that you are devoid of any devices. This may sound like just a very small and simple act, but this gesture is so meaningful, especially if you consider how the world now seems to be extremely connected to digital networks. By ensuring that you do not fiddle with your phone, laptop, tablet, or any other device as you talk to someone, you can effectively show them how engaged you are with the discussion. It allows you to give someone your complete attention, which not only demonstrates your good manners but also provides an opportunity to develop rapport and connection, especially if you combine it with active and engaged listening. Ensure that your questions are open-ended. Remember that a lot of people are fond of talking about themselves. Apart from the fact that you are your own favorite topic or subject in conversations, you will also have an easier time talking about yourself compared to topics that you are unfamiliar with. One example is saying, "How have you been?" instead of, "Are you all right?" While the first question encourages the person you are interacting with to provide information conversationally, the latter is only answerable by a yes or a no. By asking open-minded questions, it is highly likely for you to come up with a dynamic and interesting conversation with someone while encouraging them to speak and open up more. Display genuine interest. If you want your small talk and conversations to be successful, you have to ensure that you are displaying genuine interest to those you are talking to. Perceive the interaction as a way for you to learn more about someone. Remind yourself that every conversation provides you with a new chance or opportunity. The efforts you exert in initiating small talks can, therefore, lead to a new and meaningful friendship or a new client-customer if you are in the business sector. Be an active listener. This is where you can also apply the things you have learned in the previous chapter about listening actively. To establish a great connection with someone as you make small talk, you have to show that you are really actively listening to what they are telling you. Being an active listener requires you to pay conscious attention to the words that are being said to you. Aside from making someone feel valued because of how engaged you are with the talk, the fact that you are listening actively will also make it easier for you to ask important follow-up questions. It is also likely for you to remember vital information. One way to be a really good active listener is to consciously retain eye contact with the speaker for at least 60% of the entire talk. Nod your head every now and then, too. This should be enough to show them that you are genuinely listening and you are willing to remain fully relaxed and present during the conversation. In the instance that they stop to talk for even just a bit, you can ask a few questions to clarify or get enlightenment on the topic discussed. Stick to the 20-second rule. This tip requires you to be conscious of the time you use as you speak. If you are already talking for around 20 seconds, then it is time to complete your thoughts. The goal is to finish what you were trying to say the moment it hits 40 seconds. View this rule for small talk as a traffic light. Note that until you hit 20 seconds, you can talk to one or more green lights. After hitting 20 seconds, expect the light to change to yellow. Upon reaching 40 seconds, expect the light to turn red. This should signify that the other should speak. Look for a neutral and common ground. Look for neutral and common ground if you notice that the small talk is already in order. It is not a good idea to give comments on situations that you are not familiar with. Let's say that you met someone who seems too short, heavy, thin, or tall, and you suddenly have the urge to share your judgment regarding his appearance with your seatmate. This is something you have to avoid because your seatmate may have someone close to him who seems to be average in all areas. Assuming that you are sharing the same view as someone just because you are sitting next to each other is dangerous. It would be much better to talk about something that both of you are familiar with and are generally known for being safe topics. Be observant on nonverbal communication. You may also want to use some nonverbal cues, such as nodding, body language, keeping eye contact, and leaning in as a means of communicating and showing how much interest you have in what they should say. Be sure that you are smiling whenever necessary to find out whether you are listening. Plan your exit strategy. Upon getting to the last part of the conversation, it would help you a lot to create a natural and graceful end to the planned small talk. This does not have to be grand. Even simple things like letting them know how great the meeting was and referencing to a topic you have talked about throughout the entire conversation are good enough. For instance, let's say you met someone in search of a job. It is possible for you to end or conclude your small talk with them by saying, "Good luck," with their job hunting. If you prefer developing your relationship and making good friendships, you may also encourage them to contact you in case they need or want your help. Develop the correct mindset. Before going to a social event, make sure that you have already developed the right mindset that will be useful in initiating small talk. You can do this by reminding yourself of your reason for going. Remind yourself of what you truly look forward to or expect as a result of this event. Familiarize yourself with the attendees. In case there is a list of attendees that you can check out, grab the opportunity to get to know them. Once you are aware of the attendees, it will be easier for you to decide who you wish to meet from the list in advance. This can make you fully prepared and ready, thereby increasing your chance of having positive results from the event. Prepare several questions that you can use to start your small talk. Inject positivity. It helps to begin your talks and conversations on a positive and upbeat note. Do not launch into negative observations and complaints, as it may only drive people away from you. Regardless of the situation, remember that you can always find a positive thing to say, so focus on this. You can also comment and talk about the weather, company, actual event, and food. Say something simple yet positive, such as the fact that you have a good time. Hope that the person you are talking to has a fun and pleasant experience too. All these can help in keeping your conversation positive and smooth sailing. Find the right balance. This means that you have to remind yourself that a good conversation is not just dependent on a single approach. You can have the best talks and discussions if you mix various tactics, like asking the right question, sharing things regarding your personality, and intently listening to the things that other people say to you. You can have a simple and well-balanced conversation with the help of the following. Ask for basic information. Listen to the answer. Disclose what you were thinking about. Repeat the process if you want by asking one more question. Otherwise, the one you were talking to may choose to ask follow-up questions regarding your earlier responses. Again, it also helps to present open-ended questions, those that are not answerable by only yes or no. Prepare questions in your mind in advance, too. This can make you fully prepared as you approach people. With that, there is a low chance that you will feel uncomfortable and awkward as you start conversations. Knowing the basics of starting and initiating small talks and conversations is definitely a vital skill that can help you establish your social connections in various contexts. You may have a hard time doing this at first, especially if you are dealing with social anxiety or shyness, but sooner or later, you will be able to harness this skill, provided you practice constantly. You need to keep on practicing so you will slowly but surely start to be comfortable talking to people. Each interaction should serve as your practice session. If you keep on initiating discussions and conversations, you will eventually strengthen your social and conversational skills. It also helps if you are the one who takes the first steps or initiatives to meet new people. Do not wait for anyone to come to you. It would be much better if you attempted to say hi or hello first. If you constantly approach new people, you will slowly realize your comfort level is going up as you start to make small talk with others, which can help create another opportunity to establish deep connections and strong relationships. Chapter 7. How to overcome shyness, social anxiety, and discomfort. Fear, shyness, and social anxiety are also among the factors that may hinder you from handling social settings well. The problem is that if you are afraid, anxious, or shy, and it starts compromising your ability to deal with social situations. It will also negatively affect your daily life since it will be harder for you to talk to people. Fortunately, you can overcome these obstacles to bolster your social skills using a few tips indicated in this chapter. Is shyness the same as social anxiety? Before learning how to overcome shyness and social anxiety, you have to find out whether shyness and social anxiety are the same. In that case, you should know that the two are actually very different. Yes, both shyness and social anxiety can cause discomfort when you are in a social setting, but you can still distinguish them based on the intensity of the fear and its effects. Those with social anxiety actually experience a higher level of fear compared to those who are just naturally shy. The fear is so strong that, in some cases, they find it uncontrollable. Basically, shyness can be described as having anxious reactions and being extremely self-conscious when you go out in public. It also often comes with a negative evaluation of yourself. You feel that way as a response to imagined or real interactions. If you feel like you are just shy, then you can overcome it by first understanding the specific reasons why you feel that way. In most cases, it is caused by various factors, like genetics, problems with mental health, low self-confidence, and upbringing. A lot of people also say that shyness is developed because of one's early interactions with guardians or caregivers. If you are in the care of someone who is so protective when you are still young and upon growing up, then this kind of overprotectiveness may also gently contribute to shyness. If you are shy, then it is crucial to do something to recover from it. Otherwise, you may end up avoiding or inhibiting social interactions that are supposed to benefit different areas of your life. By not recovering your shyness, you may end up experiencing the following negative effects: tendency to cancel social events, have no or only very few friends, prone to staying away from social situations, even those who actually give positive social interactions, difficulties in asserting yourself, lack of self-esteem, difficulties in interacting in the workplace, thereby hampering your career, tendency to engage in activities that isolate you. Meanwhile, social anxiety is more intense than shyness, as it comes with an intense and persistent fear that those around you always watch and judge you. It is a condition that causes you to feel self-conscious whenever you interact with people and fear social settings. If you have a social anxiety disorder, then expect even casual conversations and interactions to trigger dizziness, trembling, and excessive fear of rejection and criticism. For those with severe social anxiety, its effects on their daily lives are so huge to the point that they will have a hard time handling even those activities that are so common and natural for a lot of people, like talking and interacting with colleagues or coworkers, eating or dining out, going on dates, going to class, buying groceries. The reason behind this is the intense fear brought on by having to talk to people. The problem is that if you are afraid of social settings, your school or work performance, as well as your daily activities that require you to deal with others, you will most likely suffer too. Also, one thing to note about social anxiety is that it is not that easy to manage. Still, you have an assurance that overcoming it is a goal that anyone can achieve. Just make sure that there is persistence, commitment, and hard work to let go of the disorder. Overcoming shyness and social anxiety. Despite having major differences, it is important to note that you can overcome both shyness and social anxiety through various means. Let go of your extreme shyness as well as social anxiety and discomfort and strengthen your charisma so you'll have an easier time connecting with others through these simple yet highly useful tips. Admit the presence of your fear. Of course, the first step you have to take when dealing with shyness and social anxiety and subsequently improving your social skills is to admit that you indeed have a fear of social settings. You have to admit the fact that you are afraid. Otherwise, you will only worsen the negativity within you. By acknowledging your fear, you may realize that this feeling is actually smaller compared to what you initially perceived and acknowledged. Assess your fear thoroughly and cultivate awareness surrounding various layers of fear. For instance, if what you are truly afraid of is socializing or interacting, find out the exact reason for your fear. Is it because you were afraid of people mocking or judging you? Or is it because you were afraid of rejection? Determine your biggest why. Do you want to fulfill something which is extremely uncomfortable and scary for you? Then it is important to supply your brain with something that serves as its biggest motivator. In most cases, especially if you are classified as an introvert, you may not be fully motivated to go out and interact with new people if the only goal is to be popular or likable. This would not be enough motivation for introverts, as they do not actually like to be with a lot of people. With that said, you have to reflect on yourself and find out your biggest reason for wanting to get rid of shyness and social anxiety from your system. For instance, it could be that you no longer like the painful feeling associated with being alone, and you are fully aware of how much you need to cultivate connection. As much as possible, acknowledge and admit the pain since it is helpful in letting yourself move forward despite the challenges and discomfort. Ditch your inner critic. Can you recall a time when you tried to evade or escape the situation of having to approach someone and get to know them? For instance, evading or escaping from the conversation even without exerting too much effort. It is even likely that you desperately looked for an excuse, no matter how minor, to escape the setting. For instance, you ended up saying things like, "I'm so boring, I don't think she wants to talk to me. Why should I bother when I am 100% sure that I will not change anything? How can I expect someone to like me if I am not a good conversationalist?" If this has happened to you a lot of times already, then it could be that you are succumbing to your inner critic. The problem with your inner critic is that it is usually unreasonable, so you should learn how to ditch it. To avoid issues, listen to your critical voice. As soon as the critical voice comes out, you should imagine or perceive it as a high-pitched and shrill mouse. You can then take up the unwanted mouse through their tail, then toss them out of your door. Just in case the mouse returns to your home, you can start talking to them. Remember that you are bigger than it, and it would do you good to continue keeping their small mouth shut. Challenge your anxious and negative thoughts. It also helps to keep on challenging your thoughts, especially those that make you feel so negative, down, and anxious. There are instances wherein it feels like you can't do anything with the way you feel and think. The truth, though, is that there are several things that you can do to make your mind recover from anxiety and negativity. By challenging your negative thoughts and mentality, you can lessen the signs of social anxiety. Begin by acknowledging your anxious thoughts. After that, analyze the thoughts so that you can start challenging them. Ask yourself why you think that way. Know that your first reaction is mainly the way you feel or the fact that you always assume the worst. While making some changes in the manner of your thinking is kind of a long process, which means that you can't fix it immediately, you should still remember that the mind is very powerful. So there is still a chance for you to make the change possible. Start to be more mindful. You should also work on improving your mindfulness ability. Practice mindfulness meditation so you can see yourself being more present and conscious of your feelings and thoughts in a positive manner and without any form of judgment. Mindfulness meditation can actually affect certain areas of your brain. This is the part that can help lower your level of anxiety through meditation, which means that there is a chance that it can also prevent you from being so anxious, shy, and uncomfortable in social settings. Avoid focusing too much on yourself. Yes, you may have a hard time stopping your somewhat limitless mental chatter, especially if you are in a situation that causes you to be specifically anxious and shy. In several cases, you turn within yourself, which means you start focusing too much on yourself and the way others will view and judge you. There is even a chance for you to assume that their perception of you will always be negative, which can further aggravate your shyness and social anxiety. It's time to let go of your tendency to focus too much on yourself when in a social situation. Remember that contrary to what you believe, every person in the room will not look at you with the goal of judging you from the moment you step inside. This means that there is no need to be extremely shy, anxious, and uncomfortable when you are around them. Develop a hierarchy for exposure. You can do this by figuring out and then rating how every social setting makes you feel as far as shyness and anxiety are concerned. For example, you rank your feelings from 1 to 10, with 1 being that you do not experience any shyness or anxiety, and 10 being the highest, which means that it already causes you to experience a full-blown anxiety or panic attack. Create a list, then write down your thoughts for each situation, regardless if it is small or big. The most important thing here is to put your predictions in writing, so once it is time for you to experience it, you already have an idea of how you will most likely feel, therefore allowing you to set in place the appropriate plan of action for it. Lessen anxiety and shyness by sticking to a healthy lifestyle. Keep in mind that your body and mind are greatly connected. In other words, the way you treat your body has a significant effect on your entire life. These include your levels of shyness and anxiety. You can make even minor changes in your lifestyle so you can start bolstering your confidence and how you respond and cope with the symptoms of anxiety. One thing that you can do is to reduce or avoid caffeine by staying away from caffeinated drinks or coffee. You should also avoid energy drinks, as they serve as stimulants and have a high chance of boosting your symptoms of anxiety. Prioritize daily exercise and ensure that you are active at certain points of your life. Note that even an activity as simply as a 15 to 30-minute brisk walk can already do wonders for your brain and body. It also helps to moderate your intake of alcohol. You may think that it is helpful in calming your nerves, but it actually increases your chance of suffering from an anxiety attack. It also helps you drink a lot of water to keep you hydrated. Get sufficient hours of sleep, too. Avoid sleep deprivation as it makes you more prone to anxiety and drastically affects your mood. Practice deep breathing. Note that in most cases, shyness and social anxiety come with physical symptoms, like a pounding chest, tensed muscles, dizziness, and increased heart rate. If you experience those symptoms in a social setting, take yourself in a quiet corner first and give yourself at least 1 minute to take slow and deep breaths. This technique is beneficial in regaining your control of your own body. To practice this, you just have to relax in a seated position. Take the largest breath you think you can for the day, then make it a point to hold it for a few seconds. Exhale, slowly, trying to let go of as much air as you can. After that, take one more deep breath in the sense that you let the air fill your stomach. Continue doing this until you notice your breathing slowing down and going back to normal. If that happens, you can go back to the setting and start enjoying small talk and conversations with people. Try raising your confidence level. Keep in mind that you can find a lot of adults who are struggling with shyness and social phobia. If that is the case, you should work on your confidence. To learn confidence, think of the time when you rode your bike for the first time. It is your confidence that helped you bike with ease. This is something you should emulate. Act confidently so those around you will react positively. It also helps to start being assertive. Note that with practice and time, a gig that feels extremely terrifying initially will slowly get better every time. Look for social situations where you can engage. Exert an effort to improve your social engagements. What you should do is to find social environments actively that aid in overcoming your fears. You can begin by attending a social skills class, one that will train you in the area. It is in this class wherein you can practice your social interactions correctly before you go out into the real world. Show kindness to yourself. Remind yourself that just like other people, you are also imperfect. There is also a time in your life wherein you will feel embarrassed or upset. Whenever you commit a mistake, especially in a social setting, do not be too hard on yourself. Remember that despite some imperfections during your practice, you will eventually be able to overcome your social anxiety. Expect to experience those moments when you look at and think of yourself as negative, causing you to go back to your old habits. In case you feel tired or run down, it is possible that you will also feel more embarrassed and anxious than usual. Do not beat yourself up too much, though, because this does not necessarily mean that you are already a failure. Spend a minute focusing on the now and continue to work on your social skills by removing your shyness and anxiety using the right techniques. Take small steps. When trying to manage your social anxiety, remember that it is actually okay to begin with even minor changes. Note that you should not force yourself to lead a meeting and talk or start a conversation with those you just met. There is no need to make a grand gesture. Even simple but heartfelt gestures will do. To take the necessary small steps, you can try doing the following. Stop using self-checkouts. What you have to do is challenge yourself to begin small talk casually, such as with the cashier at a store. So you can slowly but surely bolster your social and communication skills. Raise your hand if you want to ask questions in class. Compliment the outfit of your coworker or classmate. Plan a small gathering designed for your loved ones and socialize to increase your comfort level. Every time you feel anxious, it helps to try changing its name. Rather than thinking, I feel extremely nervous about my performance tonight, try to change it into, I am very excited to find out what those around me are like out of work. Perform relaxation techniques. Just like those who are suffering from general anxiety, severe cases of social anxiety and shyness also experience uncomfortable and overwhelming symptoms, such as sweating, lightheadedness, difficulty breathing, pounding heart, and upset stomach. You can actually lessen and avoid the mentioned physical reactions through relaxation exercises. These exercises promote ease in managing your worries, fears, as well as other emotional experiences. One way to relax is to keep on practicing deep breathing. You can also try progressive muscle relaxation. What you have to do is tense every muscle group in your body slowly, starting with your toes. Try holding such tension for around 5 seconds, after which you have to exhale slowly while releasing the tension. It also helps to prioritize the new looseness you experience in your muscles. Focus on this for around 10 seconds before you breathe slowly again. Do the same for your other muscle group. Embrace your shyness. Make it a point to embrace your shyness, especially if it is natural for you. This should help you avoid the feeling of being too self-conscious every time you decide to go out. Most people look at shyness as a very endearing trait, actually, so there is no need to beat yourself excessively because of it. If you are noticeably shy and awkward, some of those in a social setting may even try to make you feel comfortable. This is to ensure that you continue to feel engaged in the discussion. It helps to celebrate and lean into your unique quality, thereby helping you feel better about taking part in a social situation. This is true even at a point when there is already no need for you to interact with people as frequently as before. Conclusion. The act of making small talk and having deep and engaging conversations are skills that can actually help you become more adept and skillful in social settings. Now that you have reached the last page of this book, I'm sure you already have an idea about how you can specifically improve and strengthen your social skills. You may have already thought of how important it is to master small talk and become an effective communicator. Hopefully, this book has helped you in all those areas. Use this book as your ultimate guide in bolstering your social skills, and sooner or later, you can see yourself being an expert in making small talk and navigating the social scene. What's even better is it may have helped you in becoming a great conversationalist, one who is full of charisma and confidence, which is a good way to develop more meaningful and deep conversations. Good luck!